G'day guys, and welcome to part 2 of my Kerbal Space Program tutorial series. Now in this part I'm going to be showing you how to build a simple Mun lander stage, and that's right, a Mun lander, not a moon lander, because in Kerbal Space Program it's a Mun lander stage, capable of obviously landing on the Mun and even returning if you so desire. Now, I'm going to assume that you have a prior sort of like a brief knowledge, a simple knowledge of Kerbal Space Program, and that you've watched, well, either my previous episode or have played around a bit for yourself. So I won't explain everything in detail, but I will, however, build a rocket that, if you only have the demo, is still capable, will only use parts available to you in the demo. As you can see, I'm using 0.21, the latest version, so I have a few more parts at my disposal, but for those of you who I guess are just trying out the game, this will be a ship that you can build with only the demo version. Alright, so we've just picked a one-man command pod because I'm pretty sure that's all people have in the demo, and it's simple, it's light. In case something goes wrong, we want to have a parachute so our Kerbal does not die, and that will pretty much be our return stage. So we'll want to throw a decoupler for when we return. Now, those of you who have the demo, ignore this. Those of you who have the latest version, you will need to put solar panels on the side because as of 0.21, command pods now need power because they have what's called a torque. I can't remember what it's called actually, but they use power. So put some solar panels, just these single ones. 2 of those will be fine, one on either side. If you're using the demo, you won't need these. Now I'm going to put on an advanced SAS module, which is in the control panel, which is this little round thing there. And as of 0.21, the command pods have it installed automatically, come inbuilt with it if you're using the demo, or if you just, sometimes they can help a little bit with new players, I find, to help me out a bit, and it just sort of, it's like autopilot, and it will keep you pointed in the right direction. Now head on over to the fuel propulsion tab and just get one of these smaller fuel tanks, the T400, and we're going to put on an LV909 liquid engine because we really don't need that much thrust when we get to the Mun. The gravity there is quite weak. Now we need to go to the utility tab, grab these, the LT1 landing struts, click down on your symmetry mode to get it up to 4 times, and we want angle snap to be on, and just place them on the corners there. Now you might need a ladder to get down to the surface, so take symmetry mode off, put some of these there, and we might put an extendable ladder there. Now you don't need a ladder on the Mun, the gravity's pretty weak, and your Kerbal will just be able to fly around using his jetpack, but I don't know, ladders look cool, make it look professional. And that's all there is to your landing stage. Yeah, you should be able to build all that in the demo. If not, I apologise, but I'm pretty sure you can. Now, for our orbital transfer stage, or our boost stage, we will get, where is it? We'll use one of these, the T800 tank. This will be the stage that takes us from orbit, or gets us into orbit, from the upper atmosphere around Kerman to the Mun. Actually, we probably don't need that much. No, it's alright, just use one of these. One of these will be fine. So we'll use a T800 and a T400. Now, actually, you know what? Because it's better to have too much fuel than too little, just use 2 T800s. I'll show you how to make it structurally sound in a second. Grab a stack decoupler, so we can separate this stage from the launch stage. And idiot! Wait, probably put an engine on it. That will help. Otherwise, we won't get anywhere. All right, I've chosen just there. Sorry, in case you saw, a T45. And these are better for your upper stages because they have what's called thrust vectoring. And when you get into space, thrust vectoring will help you out a lot because it just enables you to steer using the engine itself, because obviously wings and like aerodynamics in space are different. So thrust vectoring, the T45, is much better for an upper stage. However, we'll see in a second, I'll move this up. What is better for your lower stage, head to the structural tab, grab a tri-coupler, throw on, hit the symmetry tool, throw on some of these. Now for the lower stage I'm just going to use a T800 and a T400, but I'm going to use the T30 liquid fuel engine because, notice I've still got symmetry mode enabled. The T30 are more powerful, and because we don't need to steer as much in the lower stage, more power is better because obviously the greater efficiency you can get from fuel in the lower stages, the better. Now I'll throw on a couple of these AVR8 winglets just to help us steer while we are still in the atmosphere, and that should be all there is to it. Now we'll double check our staging, and I've got, what have I got? I've got that firing at the same time as that, so I might actually, to stop from damaging anything, I might put them in separate stages. So these will launch, these will fire, these rockets at the bottom. Now and then the stack decoupler will fire when the lower stage is used up. These two stages, these two fuel tanks will take us from low orbit to MUN orbit, and this will be our lander stage. Now, what you will want to do is, these are strut connectors, and these will be your best friends in Kerbal Space Program. They hold things together and stop them waving around. Now, symmetry mode needs to be on 3, and so if you didn't see, just click and then click drag, and if symmetry mode's enabled, you should have one on either side. If not, I'll show you, if it's off, you can place them singularly and just click and then rotate, click drag, click drag if for some reason symmetry mode doesn't work for you. And it might be a good idea also, throw symmetry mode back on, to use a strut connector. Where is it? It's just disappeared. Whoops. Connect some struts from here to your lower stage just to stop it waving around because it is pretty tall and might wobble. Alright, so I'll zoom out to give you a look. Just check, make sure your rocket looks like mine because I'm the professional, of course. I haven't blown up any Kerbals in like at least 10 minutes. Alright, and that's it. So let's give it a name. MUN Lander. Let's be original, of course, and head to the launch pad. G'day guys, welcome to the launch pad. We have Bob Kerman flying us today. Alright, so he's going to be the one getting us into orbit. Hip hip hooray, thank you Bob. Now we'll double check our staging, everything looks okay, and that's pretty much it. We'll be launching at night time, which is fine. I generally like to launch during the day, but who cares? Alright, so just hit T to enable SAS, throttle up to 100%, and in 3, 2, 1, blast off. Now, I'm going to assume that if you're watching this, you have already figured out, at least watched my previous video on how to achieve an orbit. So what I'm actually going to do is, instead of boring you guys with 5, 6, 7 minutes of achieving orbit, I'll actually just speed this up and yeah, well, that's about it. I'll speed it up, and when we're in orbit, I'll show you what to do from there. Alright, I'll see you in a second, guys. Alright guys, and we're back. As you can see, we've just achieved a stable orbit of about 80 kilometer periaps and a 90 kilometer apoaps. Alright, hope you enjoyed the beautiful sunrise as we achieved orbit. I can't wait until this game has clouds and stuff like that, because it's already a gorgeous game, but it's only going to get prettier. Alright. Now, when you have achieved orbit, just ignore some of this stuff. That's other things that don't matter. Alright, I'm going to be using maneuver nodes to get us to the Mun. There are other ways to do it, but maneuver nodes are probably the easiest, especially if you're a new player. Now, what you want to do is, this is your orbit, and this is the Mun out here. So I'm going to set that as a target. Actually, look, as you can see, we are pretty much in an exact matching orbit with the Mun. The blue line there is our orbit around Kerman, and the yellowy green orbit is the Mun's orbit. Now, for some planets, you'll have to do an inclination change, which means you change the angle of your orbit. But for now, we won't worry about that. Now, what you want to do is find a point that's about 90-degree angle with the Mun, and click on your orbit, add a maneuver, and grab the prograde marker, which is the circle with the 3 lines, 2 horizontal, 1 vertical, and drag that out till you're at about, here we go, what's that, 11 million meters or something. Alright, and as you can see, I'll just do that again. This marks our approach, and you'll see that our orbit changes because what happens is we enter the Mun's sphere of influence. Now the sphere of influence, I'll zoom in so you can see it a bit better. This is our orbital path, our trajectory, and here is where we encounter the Mun, and the Mun's gravity becomes stronger than Kerman's. Alright, and yeah, this is what we call an encounter, which is where we will have to do some orbital calculations further along. But that's all there is to it. I'll run through it again really quick. Find a point that's about 90-degree angle on your orbit, so that the Mun is straight out to the right in this case. Add a maneuver. Drag the prograde marker out until you're at about 11. Oh, that was a bit far. Until you get an encounter, and that's all there is to it. Alright, now we can head back into orbital view. And what you'll want to do is, you can see here on the side of the right of the nav ball, that's the meters per second that we need to increase our speed by to get to the Mun. Now it's a bit early, but I'm just going to line up with the node because it's easier to do it now than wait and risk missing it. And it says down here we'll need to burn for 33 seconds. Hopefully, and we probably won't have enough fuel in this stage, but we'll have plenty of fuel in the lander stage, and that'll be fine. So I'm going to time accelerate around to the node. We'll just go 10 times for now, so we can admire the view. As you see on the nav ball, we're following the blue maneuver node around, thanks to our SAS. We are T-minus 4 minutes. Alright, we're approaching it. Now you can fly to the Mun manually if you want without using maneuver nodes. And as a general guide, as soon as the Mun appears over the horizon, you want to start firing. But because we want to be slightly more efficient, we're just going to use maneuver nodes for now to make it easy. But you can pretty much, when you're in orbit, just fire straight for the Mun, and you will eventually get there. Alright, now we're at T-minus 20 seconds, so we're going to throttle up and readjust ourselves just so that we're on the node. Seem to have slipped off a little bit. 20 seconds. Now we are going to run out of fuel. We'll have to jettison this stage and fire the next one. And because the 909 engine is slightly less powerful, we'll have to fire for a few more seconds but it's also a more efficient engine. And the further we get out, further away from Kerman we get, the more efficient all our thrust vectoring will be, and orbital maneuvers will be. Now we are only about 150 meters a second away, getting up to escape velocity 654. We're going to slow down so we don't overshoot it. 2, 1, champion. Alright, now head out the map view and no, sorry, my mistake, I haven't quite got there. If that happens, just aim for your prograde marker, fire for a bit further. We're going to fire a little bit further, and there we go. Alright, sorry, that's my mistake, guys. If that happens, just fire towards your prograde marker until your blue orbit intersects with the MUN and becomes yellow. As you can see, that's where we'll enter the MUN's sphere of influence, because you can only be affected in Kerbal Space Program by one celestial body and one gravitational force, rather. When you enter the MUN's gravity pool, you exit Kerman's. And the MUN's is quite small, so when we get up here, we'll time accelerate for a bit. When we get to the MUN, you'll see it becomes slightly more complicated. Now we'll time accelerate. As you can see, the MUN's coming around towards us. We'll slow down just so we don't miss it. Now this purple orbit, you can see the blue orbit, that's the orbit we're on now, that's the encounter. This purple orbit, alright, this will be our, if we were to continue at this speed, we would actually enter the MUN's orbit, exit it again here, and then be thrown into a larger, wider orbit around Kerman. Because we'd gain speed around the MUN, it would change our trajectory, all of that. So you don't really need to worry about this. This is more for return voyages, but we'll deal with that in a second. Well, okay, not a second, a few minutes. Now we'll speed up, and we will slow down just before we get to the encounter point, enter the MUN sphere of influence, and you will see in a second it will switch. There we go, okay? And our orbit has now switched. Our new periaps, I'll slow down so we can see this. Our new periaps is now the MUN periaps, which means we are 1,641,000 meters above the MUN surface. That's pretty far. So what we want to do is set up a maneuver node at the periaps. Grab your, which one? Retrograde, sorry, the retrograde marker, which is this. It looks like the prograde, but it has an X in the middle. You want to grab that because this slows us down, and we need to slow down so that we are permanently captured in the MUN's orbit. So just pull that. As you can see, our periaps is going down. We want to get a periaps of about 100,000. 99, that's pretty good, that's pretty close. Alright, and as you can see by the nav ball, we will have to burn for 23 seconds in a retrograde direction. Alright, in case any of you are wondering, the circle with 2 horizontal lines and 1 vertical is prograde, which is the direction that you're facing. Oh well, the direction that you're moving, rather, sorry. And retrograde is the circle. It has 2 slightly downturned lines and 1 vertical and a cross in the center. Alright, now your prograde, firing that way will increase your speed. Firing retrograde will decrease your speed. Now because we're going so fast that we're going to exit the MUN's sphere of influence, we need to slow down when we get to the periaps. And you can do it earlier, you can do it out here if you want, but the periaps is probably the most efficient way to do it. One thing you can see, if you see just down the bottom, I've got MUN periaps, MUN apoapsis, and maneuver. You'll see delta V, 304.1 meters squared. And delta V, I don't know the technical term for it, but it's a fancy way of just explaining the change in velocity I think that you'll need to perform the maneuver correctly. There's a lot of science involved in this game that I don't know about. Sorry that this tutorial is so long, guys. It's just a pretty lengthy process getting to the mun, and I don't want to miss out anything important, and I guess I'd rather take my time, make sure I do it correctly so I don't give you guys a bum steer. And it will, I guess, help you guys to more effectively achieve your Lunar landing goals. We're approaching the maneuver node. T-minus 5 minutes. Might slow down just in case. T-minus 3 minutes. Now I'll zoom in. Actually, let's... Map view's boring, so let's head... Oh, look at that. Look at that. There's the mun, Kerman, and the sun. Alright, we're going to slow right down. Kill time warp. Point ourselves towards the maneuver node. And we'll fire in approximately, maybe 9-10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's start the burn. Now, don't need to burn full throttle just yet, but we will now. Haha. I should probably talk about what I'm doing a little bit better. As you can see, our orbital speed's decreasing quite rapidly. 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's see how we go. Kill this maneuver node. Alright, we're about at a periaps of about 134. We'll probably want to be a bit lower, so point towards the retrograde marker there, and we'll fire just a little bit until we get to about 100. Excellent. 99, that's fine. Alright. And that should be everything that we need. Let's just... How much fuel have we got? We've got plenty of fuel. Now, for simplicity's sake, it's a good idea in your first orbit to just get into a stable mun orbit before you attempt anything too fancy. So, open up a maneuver node, drag on the retrograde marker until you see the apoaps and the periaps switch places. I'll do that again. You can tell that you're getting close to a circular orbit when they switch. And they switch. Fantastic. Which means you're roughly equal. I'll drag it out a little bit. 99, 101. That's fine. Alright, and the beauty of maneuver nodes is it gives you a time down here, so you don't have to sit and watch in map view. We can actually just time accelerate, go a little bit faster. It's probably a good idea at this point, guys, to hit F5 to quick save. Check out that pretty excellent lunar eclipse. I'll slow it down so we can see it, just because, you know, it looks nice. Look at that. Champion view. Alright, now we need to burn, time accelerate a little bit, down to 24, 20 minutes. Yeah, the beauty of maneuver nodes is that you can hang out in orbit view and check out the sights. Look at that mun. Big pock-marked, acne-scarred mun. The time accelerate. Now you can go actually straight from an encounter to a landing on the mun if you are skilled enough. I probably wouldn't recommend it if this is your first time trying to get to the mun. Now we'll need to point... Where's our maneuver node? There it is. T-minus 9 seconds, so we'll fire. Adjust our velocity, slowing down. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. There we go. Alright, back out. Get rid of your maneuver node, and congratulations, guys, you are now in your first stable lunar orbit. Excellent. Alright, now landing from here is pretty simple. It's a good idea to land on the daytime. In the daytime, sorry, not on the daytime. So what we will do is add a maneuver node on the far side of the mun. so that, and we'll drag our periaps down to about 30,000. Actually, let's stuff that. I'm going to show you guys what we can do. This is probably not the most efficient way to do it. No, sorry, changed my mind again. Don't listen to me, I'm rambling. Because this is probably the safest way to do it. I'm going to do it this way. Oh, ignore my rambling, everybody. Alright, head round to the, I think we're at that. This is the apoapsis. Well, actually, no, it's not. Get your maneuver node. Alright, let's start again. Get your maneuver node on the far side of the mun, or the dark side, rather. Drag your retrograde marker down until your periaps is at about 30,000 meters. Alright, we're going to time accelerate around 30 minutes. Let's go a bit faster. Sorry guys, that was not clear at all. Whoop, 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 whoop. Overshot it a little bit, that's alright. Aim retrograde and begin your retrograde burn. Doesn't have to be much. Follow your maneuver node. Yeah. Alright, and we should now be at, yep, 29,000. That's fine. That's fine. Probably a good idea to quick save now, guys. Alright, so once you're in a stable orbit, use a maneuver node to lower your periaps to about 30,000 meters, as you just saw. Sorry, it wasn't too clear, but I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to show you guys how to do this. Now, what we want to do is time accelerate around to the daylight. As you can see, our altitude is decreasing fairly rapidly. When it gets to about 40, maybe 35,000. When it gets to about, let's go 40. When it gets to about 40,000, alright, you want to aim retrograde, and that's the one with the cross in the middle, alright, and begin to fire towards your retrograde marker. And we'll this is going to be a pretty lengthy process. Whoa, what happened? You'll see it switch for some reason. I don't know why. Alright, we're going to aim retrograde and gently bring our orbit down. As you can see in the map view, we're slowly, our orbit now intersects with the mun, which is otherwise called a landing, or a crash if you land too fast. But continue to aim retrograde and just follow the marker. Now you only need to probably burn at about 1/3 thrust, as you can see. Throttle, sorry, not thrust, same thing. And your orbit will begin to slow. Now we're still pretty high up, but I'm just going to show you the simplest way to do things. There are more advanced techniques, I guess, for landing, but this is probably the easiest and the safest. Now you can probably cut your engine when you get to about 150 meters a second, and we will cut it. Yeah, we'll cut it. Alright, now at this point, hopefully your altitude is still above 30,000. If it's not, that's okay, but continue to fire retrograde. You probably, a good indicator is if you're 30,000 meters up, you don't want to be going any faster than 300 meters a second. If you're 20,000 meters, you probably don't want to be going any faster than 200 meters a second. Now I'm going a bit slower, simply because I don't want to crash and burn with everyone watching. but it's about traveling at roughly 100 meters a second per 10,000 meters altitude is a good number. I will show you what to do. We'll time accelerate down to about probably 20,000, and it'll slow down. You'll pick up altitude as you head towards the surface, obviously, as the gravity pulls you down. So we're going to slow down to roughly 150 again. Hit G to extend your landing legs, because if you forget about that, landing is going to be a whole lot tougher. Now continue to aim retrograde as you fire, because what this does is it slows down your orbit, and you'll end up pointing directly at the ground and just coming down slowly. As you can see, I'm only going about 150 meters a second. Be aware also that your altitude is not exact. That's the altitude to sea level, and because the Moon is full of craters, you may be lower than sea level or you may be higher than sea level. And as you can see, I'm approaching 10,000 meters, so it's a good idea to lower your surface velocity to about 100 meters a second. Now hopefully you've got more fuel than I do at this point. I've been a bit silly with it. We're at 8,500, so we want to slowly just decrease your throttle until your velocity is going down at maybe a few meters a second per second. And a good guide is roughly 10 meters a second per 1,000 meters. You know, so I'll be hitting 6,000 meters at 60 meters a second. Continue to aim retrograde as you fire, and you just want to steadily throttle and decrease your speed while continuing to aim retrograde. Now's probably a good time to hit, or not a good time to hit F5, but hopefully you've saved. If you need to quick save now, just hit X to shut down the throttle. Hit F5 to quick save and throttle up again, and we'll slowly descend towards the lunar surface. Down we go, gently, gently, gently. Now, as you can see, our orbit is pretty much almost vertical at this point. Continue to aim towards the retrograde marker, which should at this point be right in the center of your nav ball. What you can do is hit C to enter cockpit view, and as you can, I'll zoom in down here, radar altitude. As you can see, realistically, we're only 400 meters away from the surface. All right, even though it says 3,000. So you can tell how far off the altimeter thing really is. Continue to aim retrograde. Throttle up. You want to be going at no faster than 10 meters a second at this point. So just continue to adjust your throttle. 8 meters. Throttle up a little bit. Try and get down to about 6 meters a second. Continue to aim retrograde. 5 meters a second, 4 meters a second, aim retrograde, and 3 meters, the shadow is coming up, and hit X as soon as you land to cancel, to shut down your throttle, and if you haven't landed on too much of a slope, you should be on the Moon. Congratulations guys, you've just performed your first lunar landing. Now for the most important part, let's extend it. Let's just admire that view for a second actually. Check it out. Let's get Bob out on the EVA. Down our ladder. Oh, hey, there we go. Hello Bob. Oh, he looks excited to be here, doesn't he? And let's right click on Bob, plant flag. Where are you, Bob? Oh, the flag's backwards. Oh, bugger. Oh, Mun landing. Oh, landed. That's not how you spell it. I did it. There we go, that's better. And there you have it, guys. First Mun landing. And I hope that wasn't too hard for you to follow. Honestly, if you don't kill at least 3 or 4 Kerbals trying to land on the Mun, yeah, you're probably a genius. So good work. And that's the Mun landing. Now what I'm going to do is, I know this video's been going for a while, but I'm going to show you guys. Actually, no, I won't. This video's been going for far too long. The next part, I'll show you how to re-enter the atmosphere, get home from the Mun, and maybe do some docking. Alright, so thanks for watching this, guys. I hope it was helpful. Let me know what I can improve on in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe if you want to see the next part. And that's about it, guys. Alright, enjoy flying.